So, hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast. And it's our first off-season one, so expect some rambling.
Like we didn't do that anyway.
Yeah, but it's going to be even worse because the season's finished.
Because we've got no fresh content.
Going to be like this for the next 3 months. Strap in, everyone.
God.
Bring on February with the car launches and pre-season testing.
Livery reveal.
Yeah, so last week saw the end of the 2022 season, and this week we're going to talk about it in its entirety. I suppose the main thing to ask would be, did the new regulations do their job?
Yes,
but also
no.
Yeah.
Now, the midfield was significantly better in terms of the quality of racing throughout the course of the season. However, the financial regulations haven't really had enough time to come into effect yet, so we've had the top three teams be the top three teams still.
Yeah.
Which is the no aspect of it, for me at least, because this year I think is potentially one of the worst seasons in terms of numbers of constructors on the podium, because we had 4 and one of those was once only. Every race bar Imola was a podium of Red Bull, Ferrari and Mercedes in some combination.
Yeah.
Which, from an outside non-educated perspective, would be kind of like the Scottish Football League of, you just expect it to be Celtic and that's about it.
Or Rangers.
Yeah, okay. Well, recently Rangers haven't quite been there, but you know,
That's
they're
true.
they're on their way back, hopefully.
Hopefully not Celtic fan, but still.
Well, yeah.
Well, hopefully they do.
Bit of competition at least, come on.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it was a sort of mixed bag. I think it made the midfield better, but did it really shake up the order on the grid? Not really. We got a new top team that just dominated. I think part of that is Ferrari's fault for just being, you know. But otherwise, yeah, not much changed other than some races that were usually a snooze fest were slightly less of a snooze fest. And then there was Monaco.
Which was a snooze fest until Brazil.
Yeah.
When everything suddenly came back again.
Exactly.
And nothing has been said about it since.
Yeah. But yeah, not Monaco. Brazil was amazing.
I enjoyed the later. Well, I say enjoyed. I was very tense through the later portions of the race.
Yeah, after that second safety car.
Yeah.
But that's what the new regulations were supposed to deliver: some close wheel-to-wheel racing throughout the entire race. We got glimpses of that as well in Bahrain. Not Imola. Imola's crap.
Imola's too old school.
Yeah. It's too narrow.
Yeah, it suffers the same fate as other older circuits, like to an extent Hockenheim. That stadium section is too narrow for the modern cars. I'm trying to think of other ones that we've had. Imola's like the worst culprit. Monaco will always be Monaco, and that is just matter of fact. Hungary is another. But the older circuits are too narrow to really enable wheel-to-wheel racing. I mean, to a lesser extent, certain sections of the Brazil track are subject to being too narrow.
Yeah, the middle sector isn't great for overtaking.
Yeah.
But if you can get a good run through the middle sector, then it sets you up perfectly into Sector 3.
Yeah,
Whereas
I
in
just feel
Imola,
like
you can get perfect laps and you're just never going to pass because there is nowhere to pass.
yeah, it's just with Brazil. I feel like if the middle sector had slightly wider roads, then maybe we'd actually see some overtaking there
Mm,
because you can get such a different run out of certain corners, different lines. And we see it that people want to make moves there, but they just can't because of the width of the track.
yeah.
Much the same as Imola. I think if Imola was just simply widened around the entire circuit, then
Yeah.
overtakes would be more abundant.
Indeed. So we started off with Bahrain. That was actually really enjoyable. Jeddah wasn't great, if I
Jeddah
remember
was
rightly.
Jeddah.
Yeah. Well, but see, last season Jeddah was exciting.
That's because the stakes were higher.
True. And we had that massive pile up into turn one, like 3 times in the one race.
That was
They
Formula
are gonna
2's
make-
job this year.
They are
Yeah.
going to make a change at Jeddah, though.
Are they?
Yes,
What's the change?
they
Are we not going back?
That would be nice.
Yeah, wish. It's in, I think, sector 1 going into sector 2. They're making one corner straight to make the track safer. It's
Fair
just
enough.
a shame they won't make the place safer.
Yes. Speaking actually, this is welcome to tangent time. We're not going to China, is the strong suspicion, and it's not going to be replaced. So that record-breaking season has been reduced by 1 race.
Again.
Yeah, so
How difficult is it to find another track that wants to host a Formula One race?
it's not how difficult is it to find another track. It's how difficult is it to find another track in a country that isn't doing something wrong, except the Middle East because oil money. And then at the same time, how difficult is it to have the infrastructure? Because the track is one thing; it's the infrastructure around it that's another.
Monza says hello.
Monza says hello. Paul Ricard's in and out infrastructure said hello.
Yeah.
Hockenheim hasn't
Actually,
had
yeah.
the best
What
record.
about the circuits that we've literally dropped from this season's calendar up next year? Just bring them back.
Because they'll be like, we don't want to be, well, they would say this, but we don't want to just be your backup man. We want a full place on the calendar. And they won't
And then
actually
there's
say
just
that. They'll just be
Turkey
like,
sitting in the
thanks for
wings
coming.
like- Yeah,
Come
Turkey's
back.
just sitting there like, hello, we will happily be back up again.
You want another race?
Yeah. Bring back Turkey. Turkey was amazing, especially in 2020 when when we were on intermediates for no reason other than the track was just, oh god, we've lost Nia.
Yeah, but Turkey was amazing. Then 2021, it was okay.
Yeah, but it was still fun. Like, it wasn't
Yeah,
quite
still.
2020, but it was still fun.
I'd be interested to see it with the new cars,
Yeah,
10-8
Yeah.
in particular.
yeah.
Because I feel like if someone gets the ride height wrong and they oscillate into the ground, they're going goodbye off into the gravel trap.
Yes.
Hmm.
I don't know
But
what's
I got
happened with
the-
Nia. Shall we just keep going? Oh, she's there.
My
We
mum
go.
came in.
Ah, I see. So yeah, Jeddah is there. Australia.
I found the changes to Jeddah. They're
Ah.
reprofiling turn 22 to 23, which is out of like the long left hairpin,
Yes.
and then moving the walls back, so that's opened out a little bit, and they're changing some curbs.
I don't suppose that would be
Yeah,
the
I
curve
think-
where Mick Schumacher lost control, would it?
Yeah, isn't 22 to 23 where Mick Schumacher ripped his car in half?
It sounds like that would be a good place to make some changes.
I'm pretty sure it is. So where did you say? Just 22 and 23? Because that's here.
Yeah, 22 and 23 is where they change in the corner.
Yeah. I can see
And then,
why. And then where else?
And then they're just doing curb changes.
I don't know if he did
the-
lose it there, you know. I think he might have lost it at like 10.
Yeah,
I don't think it was as early as 10.
No, I think
No,
it
it's
was.
like 11, 12, 10, 11, 12. because it was
I thought
quite
it was a-
early on in the
mm.
lap.
I
I
thought it was a
think
bit more of a tight section, which
I
is why I thought
think
22, 23.
that's where he
Mm.
crashed in Z 21 when we first went there.
Met the Tech Pro.
Yeah,
Mm.
I don't know. It all looks the same.
I mean, Mick's probably crashed at every single corner there. So,
Mm.
No, it's not Latifi.
well, and Latifi has as well, probably.
Yeah, true.
Between them, they got it covered.
Yeah,
Yeah. Australia. I don't even really remember the Australian Grand Prix, to be honest.
Max broke down. That was about the highlight.
Didn't Sainz put it in the gravel for the first time in the season? Wasn't that the start of his
Yes.
run?
That was the start
Yeah.
of the race. Yeah.
Ricardo put in a good performance.
Mm.
For once.
I think he finished sixth. I want to say.
Then we went
Yeah,
to
that was-
Imola, as we've already
Yeah.
established.
And
Shit.
we got our only non-top 3 podium.
Yeah,
Do you know? I think 2014 had more non-top 1 podiums because 2014 was a complete one-horse race. But
Mhm.
then last season, I'll need to check. Then we went to Miami for the first time.
wish it was the last.
Do you know, it's not the worst track. It was an all right race. It certainly wasn't the worst race this season.
No. But Monaco's kind of got a monopoly on that.
And Abu
Monaco
Dhabi.
was. I'd say I don't think Monaco was the worst race this year.
Inclement
It was
weather.
Yeah, I mean the weather did affect it massively, but you have to give it respect.
Let's just install Bernie's sprinkler system at Monaco to make it more fun every
Yeah.
year. Suddenly,
Oh.
rain.
Just get people to chuck like buckets of water off their balcony.
Yeah.
Mind the
There's
damp
someone
patch.
I don't like. Rain.
Yep. Bang! Here comes the TV.
Could you imagine getting hit by a bucket load of water going at like 150 mile an hour? That's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Do it.
I mean, to be fair, it also hurts getting hit by rain at 150 miles an hour.
True.
That's what a helmet's for.
Yeah, a helmet can deal with rain. I don't think it'd deal with a full bucket of water.
I mean, it depends on the size of the bucket, I suppose.
That's when someone takes the bucket and also throws the bucket.
Red flag. Why? There's just a bucket on the circuit.
Red flag. Why? Bucket.
Imagine that coming up on the time control sheet. Red flag, bucket on circuit.
Yeah, anyway, Miami.
Miami, where we discovered that Formula One only want the rich and the famous to attend.
Yeah,
No
the ticket
water.
prices there were absolutely obscene. And they're
And
gonna be-
yet, America said, hold my beer, as Las Vegas was introduced.
Exactly. I was about to say that.
$44,000 for 8 tickets.
Mhm.
That was a combination of hospitality and something else. But
I was about to say, I dread to think the cost of Paddock Club
I don't even want to know.
because I'm pretty sure that's like 8,000 for Monaco. And I've got
The
a feeling Vegas is going to
88,000.
be even worse than Monaco. But anyway, yeah, so we had Miami. And it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. It was just sort of meh.
Again,
Yes, mate.
suffers from narrow segments.
Yeah. The layout probably could be better. But it was the first time I went there. You don't really know until you show up with these things. So we'll just need to wait and see if they improve it as the years go on.
I
Then
mean,
we
they've
went.
got a lot. They've got a lot of years to improve it. so-
Yeah, true. Then we went to Spain. And if I remember right, Spain wasn't actually as bad as usual.
By Spain's standards, it was a pretty banging race.
Yeah.
Admittedly, Spain's standards are quite low.
That would not be difficult. It's Barcelona.
So no, it was a decent race,
Yeah,
but still, it was Spain.
yeah. And then we went to Monaco. Yay, Monaco. Right, moving on.
And then we went to Azerbaijan.
Yeah, which is always fun. I enjoy Baku.
Hmm.
It wasn't as chaotic as usual, but
Sometimes that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sometimes you need a mid race to just get the exciting race be even more exciting.
Exactly.
yeah,
You can't.
and I think that's exactly what it was. It was just a pretty mid race.
It was decidedly average, but at the same time, you can't have every race be amazing because that just then raises your expectations and suddenly amazing becomes average. So
Yeah,
And
and then if
you're
you
in
have
F2.
every race being amazing, and then you have like a Monaco come along, just like, why am I watching this? What am I doing with my life?
honestly, I think you could watch Monaco on ×4 speed and still fall asleep.
Yeah,
I still think Abu Dhabi's worse than Monaco though, because Abu Dhabi you have the expectation of something exciting could happen,
and then it
but it
doesn't.
just doesn't.
Yeah,
With Monaco, you know, it's whatever.
yeah, you know what? Well, but Monaco, there's the chance of someone like
Binning it in
and
spectacular fashion.
Yeah, but then that would just create a red flag, and then it's just the same old, same old.
Oh well, no, it would just create a replay of Lance Stroll.
Yeah.
The
Someone
good old
bins it. What's
days.
happened? We need to know. Then we went. Was this the first time back in Canada since COVID? Did we go last
Yep.
year?
Yeah,
it was the first time back.
first one.
It was good to be back in
And
Canada.
Latifi killed the ground.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, he did. Wasn't that your prediction?
That was, yeah.
Yeah.
Apart from that, it
I
was
have
actually
big thanks for that.
it was actually good to be back in Canada. It's
I did miss
a
the
great
circuit.
It promotes good racing. It's a good layout. There's plenty of opportunities to overtake as well. But I don't think anyone put it in the Wall of Champions, which was surprising.
No, that was a rarity.
Yes. Across the whole weekend as well, I don't think.
See if we can get this one. Yeah, there it is. Groundhog squish for 100 points. Champion.
And then we had Britain. Now, admittedly, my view of this might be a bit skewed because I was there.
And you
So-
didn't see all of it.
Oh no, I did see the whole race.
Yeah, but you didn't see all of it. You saw the race, but only like you saw bits of it better than others, but we saw bits of it better than you.
Oh, there was a big screen in front of me, so I could see everything you were seeing as well. But
Just not the
Yeah.
timing tower.
yeah, exactly. The timing tower was completely unreadable. Which led to me forgetting Sergio Perez was in fourth when the safety car got deployed. Because it was just unreadable. But yeah, I'll let you lead on this. You obviously seen the TV coverage.
I
So you knew
mean-
what happened at turn one much sooner than me.
Yeah,
Ross's
so
fault.
obviously we had that collision. Red flag, understandably. I mean, that was probably the most exciting bit of the race. There were other points of good action. It wasn't a bad race. I think there have been better races at Silverstone.
Yeah.
I think there have also been significantly worse races at Silverstone. Also, it wasn't like a completely dominant performance like we saw with, I want to say it was 2007 Hamilton. Or was it 2008?
I think it was 8.
I think it was
His
2008. Yeah, where
wet
he won by a
drive.
minute.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
'Cause-
because Kovalainen was his teammate at the time.
Yeah,
It was
'cause-
2008.
Like, dominant performances are it's a feat to watch, but at the same time can be quite boring. So it was a good race. It was another Ferrari blunder by virtue
well,
of not pitting
on one
Charlie
side.
Boy.
Yeah,
You're
he
a
did win
team.
the race. Yeah,
Well, Carlos did, but
Carlos won.
Charles
First
Leclerc got hung out to dry somewhat,
yeah, on the hards.
which became a bit of a running theme through the season that Ferrari could either get no cars correct or one car correct.
Yeah, they never got both cars right.
No. Until sort of like the last race of the season when they actually did good strategy, but it was kind of too little too late at that point and wasn't really worth much. But yeah,
All it done was help them to second place in the constructors
yeah,
because they nearly balls that up to.
yeah, that was pretty close. But like, I'd say that when the top three teams got together, there was actually a good scrap. But for the most part, I mean, we saw it then. Mercedes was still off the pace at that point because Hamilton went straight past both of them when they were fighting it out. And then when they both turned their attentions on Hamilton, Hamilton was very quickly back behind them again. So it would have been good to see that level of racing between all three teams, but that didn't ever really come to fruition.
No.
So I don't know.
It did massively expose Mercedes' downfall this season, really. And that you got the amazing through goes Lewis Hamilton moment, and then like 4 corners later, he was behind.
Big reality
Perez
check
again.
of
Yeah. He did hold off the Ferraris quite well, though. Like his pace compared to them was really good, but the Red Bulls were just in another league.
The Red Bulls were able to maintain their levels of downforce while also trimming off a significant amount of rear wing, which I think was probably their biggest weapon this year. Their straight line speed was second to none.
Yeah.
Like we had the occasional one where, like at Monza, where a Williams, you always know a Williams is going to pop up really high in the speed trap. But it was always Red Bull up there. And it's just kind of like, that's your biggest weapon, isn't it? Because you get most of your overtaking done on a straight in a DRS zone.
Exactly.
And they've built the car to sort of perfectly utilize that. You saw it, I think, best in Miami, where when Max was ahead of Charles, even though Charles had DRS, Max was still going faster.
Yeah.
But then when Charles was ahead of Max, Max got past instantly. And that for me, that really highlighted the big difference in terms of the car's setup and the sort of philosophy that the design had taken. So,
and it's all thanks to the catering department and their
good old spicy wings.
But yeah, so that was Silverstone. Then we went to Austria, and that was the first sprint race of the season.
Second, Imola was
second.
sprint.
Oh, yeah.
Why did they pick Imola?
Yeah, can they please not pick Imola next year? And we're getting 6 of them.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
If they pick the right circuits, then yes, it will be fun. If they don't, then...
Yeah, that's my biggest worry, is that they're just going to go with, who's given us the most money? You can have a sprint race.
I would actually like to see one in Bahrain.
I wouldn't mind it, but I'd also like it to be on the Sakir outer loop.
That would be quite enjoyable. I don't know if that's allowed in the sporting regulations, but
Sporting regs, make it fun.
I mean, get Massey back. He creates his own.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Massey would have greenlit that project, no problem.
That would be quite good. Same weekend as Bahrain, just on the Saturday, have a sprint around the outer loop.
It would bring something so different to the tried and tested formula of Formula One. Like sprint races are fine. They're okay. Like Brazil was probably again the best of the bunch this year.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you've got an option of using a different layout, why not?
Exactly.
Like, imagine Paul Ricard, but you had a sprint race on one layout and the actual race on another layout. And
Every
just for the giggles, you did qualifying on a third layout. Why
single
not?
Every single session, different layout.
Yeah, you just have like a wheel at the front of the
Yeah.
grid that you spin before the start. It's like, what way are we going this time?
It'd be quite okay. So Paul Ricard's a bit ridiculous. Sakir and like the actual Bahrain circuit aren't too dissimilar. You know, it mostly uses the same sections. There's just that
Yeah,
bit
Sector
across.
1 and Sector 3 are identical.
It's just the second sector that they've messed around with.
Yeah.
That would be fine. There's not many white lines you really need to change there.
Well, there's none.
So just stick with it.
Yeah.
We've done a race on the outer loop. That was a great race.
Yeah, it was incredibly fun.
So why not bring it back?
Exactly. Why not replace China with it?
I'm down for that.
Like, is the season opening on a double header?
I don't know.
Probably.
I'm gonna look it up.
Because if it's not, we could absolutely just stay in Bahrain for another week. We're there anyway.
It's not a double header, but
The problem is-
China is scheduled to be mid-April.
If we made it a double header, we would be making it a triple header because we're in Jeddah
Yeah.
2 weeks after Bahrain.
So what I'm suggesting now, hear me out here. The original plan is to go from Australia on April the 2nd. Yeah, I got to scroll through. April the
It's
2nd.
Shanghai on
To
16th.
Shanghai on
Yeah.
the 16th, to Azerbaijan on the 30th. Now, that's a nice 3-week window in the middle of the two races there that you can do something with. Now, Bahrain, and that's Gmail. I wanted maps. I'm getting my worldview up here. Bahrain and Azerbaijan aren't a million miles away from each other.
No, it's basically the same style of jump, just in a slightly different direction.
They're actually pretty close.
Yeah.
They're a damn sight closer than Shanghai is, that's for sure. So I think for going from Australia back to Bahrain and doing Sakir Outer Loop would work a treat.
Yeah.
There we go, FIA. We've fixed your calendar for you.
But unfortunately, the rumor is that Shanghai just isn't going to be replaced.
That's going to be so dead, though. Like 3 weeks in the middle of April, just after the
Yeah.
season's got going. That it's just
Well, it's gonna
haven't
be
got any
yes,
action.
There's going to be a 4-week break now, from
Yeah.
the 2nd to the 30th. What
And
is
there's
the
going to
need?
be like 600 triple headers.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Just find a circuit, please.
Literally anywhere in the Northern Hemisphere will do at that point of the year.
Exactly. Where were we? Ah, yes.
We just did Silverstone.
Is it?
After Silverstone was Austria and the sprint race. That's how we got onto this.
Oh yeah. We're professionals.
Austria was fine.
It was Austria.
That was
Yeah.
in qualifying when everyone was having their lap time deleted, was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
as they should.
Was Austria the one where Perez should have had a lap time deleted but didn't? He done Q3 and then they were like, oh wait.
Yes, because he cut the inside of turn 8.
8?
8.
Okay.
Because
That's the right-hander. Well,
the
that's
right-hander
8.
before you get into the double right-hander
Yeah.
of 9 and 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
He cut across the inside curve of that one. So if you picture the whale, the tail, and then head,
Let's just pull up the track
the
cloud
top
for
corner
everybody.
of the head.
I mean, we can make this so much easier.
It's where the head meets the neck of the whale.
Just makes zero sense.
I'm trying. All right, I'm trying.
Here you go. There's turn 8.
Yeah, that one. He cut across the inside of that.
Does look like a whale though, doesn't it?
It does.
It does. I feel
But-
sorry for Nicky Lauda. Got given a name on the circuit of a corner, and it's like the worst one.
What
Yeah, it's
corner
the
does he
corner
have?
that won.
Lauda got turn 1.
Well, it's not bad.
Yeah, but like turn
not
3,
great either.
dive bomb central. Give him that.
It could have been worse. They could have given him 2.
Very true.
2
Turn-
literally just doesn't exist in a Formula 1 car.
Turn 5.
It
Yeah,
doesn't exist in many cars, to be fair.
that's true. That's true.
It's only really motorbikes.
Yeah,
And even then, it's literally the tiniest adjustment.
that's why they changed the layout for the MotoGP boys, because they were going too fast into turn 3, and people were getting a bit close to
Yeah.
perishing.
So, do they take the little road between like 2 and 6?
No, they added a chicane for
Yeah.
them
Ah,
to slow them right down.
fair.
There's literally where it would say turn 2 on the diagram, they just went, have a chicane.
Yeah, have turn 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, pretty much. So
Fair.
it
Um,
works. It slowed them right down, and it was a much safer entry into turn 3 for the GP this year, which was good to see. Yeah. Anyway, that's not our sport of choice.
We're here for the 4-wheeled cars. Not.
I mean,
not
we can
double-checkers.
sort of make a segue between 2 and 4 by virtue of Doohan,
Hmm.
because his dad was a multiple world champion on 2 wheels, and now
And-
Jack Doohan is in the 4 wheels variety.
And then who was it done like half a lap in Abu Dhabi on 3 wheels in Formula 2?
I can't remember. I didn't watch it.
Oh, fair enough. But yeah, their wheel came off and they just kept going.
Why not?
Drove it all the way. It came off at turn 3 or 4. And they just kept going all the way to the support race paddock. Because
Easy recovery. I didn't get a
just-
tractor. I can return to the race.
the stewards were just like, yeah, we can kind of understand why you done it, but gonna not do it again, please. And then give them a wee reprimand, because it's not like they're going to give them a 5-second time penalty. It's the last race of the season.
I mean, he made it back to the support paddock, right? So
Yeah.
obviously there was enough. Maybe when he set off on his continuation of his 3 wheels on his wagon, he thought, if I can get back to the pits, and then decided halfway round, I'm not getting back to the pits.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They said that was a failure to immediately retire a car which was in an unsafe condition.
Oh, come on. But how many times have we seen a car with a puncture crawl round?
I think a puncture's slightly less different from the entire
The-
wheel.
The principle's the same.
Yeah, it is.
Like, imagine Kimi in Austria 2020 just keeping going after his wheel went adios.
I'd have been okay with that. if you've got the persistence to get that back to the pits, fair play. Like, done.
But yeah, so
just wave the white flags for a slow moving vehicle. Be on your way.
then we went to France. And
Like, oh, that's where Charles Binder.
yeah, that's where
Oh,
Charles done
yes,
the
yes,
big
yes.
scream.
No.
It was actually quite a good race until then.
Well, for a solid 20 seconds, we were all here like, what happened in France?
And then we went, oh, wait, yeah.
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 Charles threw away his lead.
As I say, it was a good race until he binned it.
Mm.
And then after it, it was a snooze fest.
Oh, it's fair. You also had George absolutely dive bomb Perez, was it?
Yeah,
And
the
send him
first
to
of
Narnia.
the first of many George dive bombs.
Hmm.
The first of many George radio messages.
What is he doing?
Taking a leaf out of Lewis Hamilton's book.
Well, he done that in Brazil, was it?
Yeah,
Following Verstappen.
yeah.
Track extend. Turn 4.
He's really picking up some bad habits. Just not ideal, is it?
Moving on.
And then we went to Hungary and we had the exact same podium.
Yeah, and Hungary was, well,
It was Hungary.
yeah. Hungary's given us some really good races over the past few years.
And some cracking memes.
Yeah. And then there was this year, and it was
But
crap.
The qualifying was good.
That's because it's the most exciting. That's like saying Monaco qualifying's good.
But it's,
Yeah.
you know, you got to take that with the weekend.
Got to take the W's where you can.
Exactly. You got to look
at
for the pros.
positives. Yeah.
But yeah, it still doesn't
Can't
save the
all be
weekend.
negative.
We don't all like, but qualifying. The race is what we're really watching.
Yeah, Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. Like the only time we do that is when it's a sprint weekend.
Yes.
Yes.
Depends where it's at.
Saturday evening.
Then we went to Spa, and you know, Spa was immediately better than last year because
we
we
went to
had-
Spa and we all promised ourselves not to do rain dances.
because we actually had at least one lap of green flag racing,
Hallelujah.
and we had Lewis nearly getting sent to space.
Yeah. Well, that is his own fault.
Yeah. Well, the move wasn't really on, to be fair. But
It was the first of many curses from me of saying Hamilton's going to win the race.
Ba-dum.
yeah, he did not win the race. He
No.
had his first DNF of the season. I mean, I say first. I think he only had 2. So
Yeah, no, I think you might be right there.
yeah, and George only had 1.
Did he? I thought he had more than that.
I'm pretty sure it was only Silverstone.
The
Like,
more
it's
you
probably
know.
just like where Singapore where he finished.
Yeah, he
Oh,
would have
right,
been as
yeah,
well
bottom or
retiring in
whatever, yeah.
Singapore,
Yeah.
but yeah, he only actually retired the once. And even then, he said he didn't want to retire. He got out his car to make sure like Guan Yu Zhou wasn't dead. And by the time he got back to it,
He'd been clamped.
Yeah. the marshals just went, "Yeah, we take
nipped
this car."
He nipped into the corner shop for a pint of milk and a packet of smokes.
Yeah,
By the
yeah,
time
yeah.
he'd come back out, his car had been clamped and gone.
You're Nick Sunshine. You're coming down with me.
Can't park there, sir.
So yeah, that was his only DNF of the season.
I mean, kind of an understandable DNF as well.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't just radio the team though, being like, "Here, guys, how do I switch this back on?" Why did they have to go all the way back to the pit wall? That's why they have a radio. He could just have plugged himself back in, but like, "Here, boys, we did it."
Maybe he'd lost his umbilical in his suit somewhere.
Perhaps.
And in heat of moment went sponge brain and didn't.
I ran
think-
all the way
Yeah.
back to the pits.
But to be fair, it was only at turn 1. It's not.
Yeah,
it's
but-
not like he's at cops
Yeah.
and gone.
I just running halfway around the track.
To be
Imagine
fair, that's what Seb done when he broke down in Monza. He, you just seen him running along the front of the grandstand.
it's just insert Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs police officer, but with George Virgil.
We did see Lando do it at Canada as well in 2019.
That was turn
Went for a little
2
run.
when his brakes had melted his suspension element, so his car suddenly went.
And we just, yeah, that's the one thing about Canada I've never understood. Why did we just leave the car there?
Every time on commentary, Brundle's like, "Yeah, we don't leave cars out in Formula One."
In 2019, they just did for no reason,
just to
right next to the pits.
just to spite Brundle.
Yeah. Massey's just sitting there like, do you know what would be funny?
If somebody hit that. Burn,
Just-
go.
Just Massey things.
I mean, if there wasn't really a need to get it,
It was
Why
right
not?
next to the pits, though.
yeah, but you're supposed to be going slow there.
It would have taken like a lap to recover.
That's
marshals
one
do
lap
enough
of racing
already.
like wasted. Man.
Give him a break.
The pit lane marshals do nothing.
Give
They
them
do a very important job.
Yeah. Without them, we wouldn't go racing.
I don't disagree. But the pit lane marshals have a skive, let's be honest.
I don't know. There was that time that there was a fire garage, a garage on
Yeah.
fire. I'm pretty sure the pit marshals were involved then.
And there was
There's
the time that
also-
Kimmy ran over one of his mechanics.
And the time
when-
where Hamilton arse-ended Kimmy.
Also in Canada.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was an on-topic conversation there.
They've done enough. They've done enough.
They've done
So-
their bit.
Then
Yeah.
we went to Zandvoort.
Oh, what?
And-
We were in Dutch.
Oh.
Dutch man wins. What a shock.
It
Moving
was a
on.
good race, though. It was a good race.
That's another circuit that suffers from being too narrow.
Yeah, by Dutch Grand Prix standards, yes, it was a good race.
But we've only had two.
But was it a good race?
No,
Yeah,
No.
I think so.
it was
I mean,
only.
think
Hamilton would have
okay.
had his win had Yuki Tsunoda not decided to not
Yeah, that was
retire
quite
in
funny.
pits.
And so
is
became
odd,
the
yeah.
social media storm of conspiracy theories and Red
Yeah.
Bull.
Yeah.
It was World War 46.
Like, do I think it had anything to do with Red Bull? No. Do I think the Alpha Tauri mechanics were I don't know what they were thinking by saying, "Oh yeah, leave the pits and then park." Huh? Why would you do that?
Check it works. Oh, it doesn't work. Park it, mate. Just park it.
Yeah.
Go have holiday.
Exactly. What was the point in that? Why did they leave the pit?
Who knows? That is something only they can answer, and we are not they, so we cannot
And
answer.
yeah, it's something only they can answer, and they did not.
I can answer for them. They said Red Bull told us to do it.
Here is your conspiracy fire. Let me throw some more fuel onto it.
And then we went to Monza. And to be honest, I think the new regulations made Monza worse.
I think Monza's very hit and miss.
The unique nature of the Monza circuit meant it's always suffered in terms of its quality of racing. So previously, when we had all of the bells and whistles on the car, then it made the slipstream more effective. It was less effective than at other circuits because everyone was running less downforce anyway, but it was still more effective than it was this year.
Mhm.
With the way the new cars are designed to work off ground effect and to throw the dirty air higher up behind the car, the slipstream became kind of meh. Even DRS was a bit meh.
Yeah, because of how little wing everybody was running.
Yeah, so it's one of those ones that you can design a rule set to help every circuit, but there's always going to be one that it doesn't quite work out for.
Mm.
And I think because
It's
of
just
Monza's layout,
disappointing that it's Monza.
yeah, it is. But
Yeah, like I'd rather they didn't work at France.
yeah,
Yeah, but it's not worked at France before, so
no, France
yeah,
just
it
hasn't
can.
worked.
Yeah,
But it's one of those things that you try and do some good, and a little bit of bad will come out of it
Yeah.
somewhere.
I think there's also recency bias towards Monza. You think 2020 was an incredible race. 2021 was also an incredible race.
Yeah.
They just, there's a level of expectation there now to it to bring an incredible race, and it was just okay. And then
The incredible has
Same.
become the average.
Yeah.
And now the average is
yeah. I mean, like, we need more non-Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari drivers on the podium.
Yeah. That was the thing that the others had going for it, was that it was
Yeah.
unexpected. Unexpected TNS.
For those of you listening on Spotify, Nia, give us a thumbs up. And again. But yeah, I think the other thing that soiled Monza a little was the poor attendee experience. It was was the only way to describe it. But I went into detail on that in the Monza review, so go watch that if you want to hear me go on a rant.
Which should be maybe I'll bother to put a card up here. This will be
Whoa!
this will be a first if I do this. I'm now really
Up there.
regretting my choice of doing
Up
this.
there.
It'll be up here. It always appears in the top right, and this is
Yeah,
this is where my hand is.
Nia's the only one not to
I'm
point.
hoping I'm hoping you
Wrong
all
way.
have learned. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. We should have learned our layout by now. I always put us in the same spots.
Oh, I just pointed to the top right. Like, it
You're-
doesn't
you're
matter
in-
where I am. Right is right.
You're in
I'm
the
just
top left.
purposely-
I'm in the top right. Nia's in the bottom left, and Ben's underneath me.
Up there
So
somewhere.
I can look down at Ben.
Yeah, so after Monza, we returned to Singapore. Woo! But it wasn't great. Oh,
Like we've been saying.
It's all right.
It wasn't the worst
I mean, the red
race.
flag at the start didn't help.
No.
n-
Could say that about Japan.
Yeah, it's true.
no. Well, Singapore wasn't red flagged. It just didn't start on time.
But yeah,
Oh yeah, but that's a red
Yeah.
flag at the start, isn't it?
Still,
They
And
just
it
kept the
should've
red flag.
they just kept the red flag till it was dry, and they're like, "Yeah, you can race now."
Because everybody knows the extreme wets don't exist.
F1 are investigating this.
What? Why the wets are so deep?
Yeah, there was a meeting of the F1 Commission a couple of weeks ago. I'm not sure if you discussed it, but they did. There is some changes to the sporting regulations. Keep talking. I will find the F1 Commission meeting notes.
Lewis Hamilton, fraud or fraud?
That's what you go to. That's your go-to topic of choice when he says, "Talk." Is Lewis Hamilton a fraud or is he a fraud?
Yeah, literally talk about Singapore.
I mean, that
We've talked about
conversation-
Singapore enough.
that
Talk
topic of
more.
Conversation was better than last week's conversation.
I know what you're talking about.
Whoa.
Last week's conversation was absolutely iconic. And if you haven't seen last week's,
Oh yeah.
you can find
I
it
forgot.
here.
I forgot what we talked about last week, and now I've just remembered, and it was summer.
Chris
Right,
is not
I've
going to know
found it.
about it, and Chris is only going to experience it if he listens to the episode.
Yeah, find out next week. Yeah, find out next week, and then it'd be like, "What the fuck happened?"
Wait, have you made someone read out an award for that?
Yeah, I should have. I really should have.
Weirdest topic of conversation this year.
Anyway, I've found it.
We're just frantically searching up.
So they've said that there's very little visibility, and it's a key determinant on starting or needing to suspend sessions. And obviously, because the extreme wets move more water, they're looking at it and finding out what's going on with the wet weather. They're also talking about our usual complaint about repeat grids penalties for driver power units being revamped, but that's not getting picked up yet. Tire blankets, But the big one is this.
They're changing it to like one lap, aren't they?
Yes, in sprint races in 2023, the DRS will be activated after just one lap after green flag.
I think that makes sense in terms of the
Hmm.
sprint race, because if we have an incident, which we have done, then you're taking quite a chunk of the race distance without DRS.
Yeah. But they're also looking to introduce it in all races in 2024.
I mean,
if
we've
it
got
goes well on the
6
sprint.
races to trial it at, basically. So fair enough. You know, it's a trial. Give it a go.
Parc Fermé is getting looked at because of how strange it is that you do free practice in Parc Fermé conditions. Which is quite weird. So they're looking at that. And that's about it.
Accident damage allowance.
Yeah, so
Really.
you're going to get double the amount of money
Hmm.
that you can claim back for accidents as part of the financial regulations. For each sprint race. But only sprint races.
Okay. Well, they're doubling the amount of sprint races, so that
Yeah.
makes sense, really.
Indeed.
That's a logical thing. It's that basically boils down to 50k per sprint race,
Yeah, pretty much.
which
So,
will give
yeah.
you a front wing.
That's what the F1 Commission are looking at. So the big one obviously being DRS.
Well, and
Which will
hopefully
be
wet
interesting.
weather tyres.
Yeah.
Which with global warming, the wet weather races are going to become more common.
Japan. We were back in Japan.
Like I said about the wet weather races.
Yeah, Japan we just did an FIA. Really?
Yep.
Worse than normal.
Yep. And everyone called them out on it, and they went, "Not us," until they went, "Actually, it was."
Yeah,
Which made a
they-
surprising change.
indeed. They didn't just blame Pierre Gasly.
Well, I mean, they tried to.
Yeah.
They gave it a fair whack.
They gave him some blame, but
Well,
not all.
Some.
some is still more than probably he should have done.
So, yeah, after Japan, it was Texas. Texas was good. I enjoyed the race at the Circuit of the Americas.
It's a good circuit.
Yeah. And it was the first race probably this season that we started to get a feeling of, Mercedes are looking good.
Yes. We probably would have seen it in Japan had it not been for the weather.
Yeah. And the massively shortened race.
Well, yeah. I feel like the weather was mostly the part of it, though. Because they did not go as well in the wet as they had been in practice sessions in the dry.
Yeah, didn't they top free practice on the Friday?
I think so.
I think they did.
So it was kind of like a, hello, hang on, something's going on here.
Mm.
But then you remember, oh, wait, it's free practice.
But yeah, they ran really well in Austin. I think Lewis came second, did they not?
We
Yeah, in fact, there was a bit of a run of seconds that he started there.
3 in a row.
Yeah. But yeah, it was like, oh, hold on a minute. They might actually win a race. And then huzzah! Soon. But overall, yeah, I'm glad Cota's staying on the calendar because it always seems to deliver a good race.
Hamilton got 9 podiums this year,
Yes.
but no wins.
Shame that none of them was a win.
Hell.
Got 5 second places.
That's until they disqualify Shrimp Bull Racing FC. I
Is-
don't know why I
when's
said
that gonna happen?
FC.
Yeah,
Let's see.
wrong sport.
Yeah, Shrimp
Should
Bull
probably
Racing
send him off, Chris. Give him a
for
red card.
Also, I don't really know many football clubs that have racing in them.
There is an Argentina club called Racing Summer, I think.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. He does have a point.
I know there's one. but like it's pretty rare.
But yeah, until they disqualify Shrimp Bull for spending too much on caviar again.
Oh, there's also Racing Luxembourg.
Mm.
Midland Football League Reserve Division, Racing Club
Racing-
Warwick.
Yeah, I've just found that.
The Argentinian one is Racing Club de
Alvenedi.
Avellaneda. Avellaneda.
Moving on from everyone trying to speak
Oh,
Spanish.
there's also Sergeant. Yeah, there's also one in France. Racing Club Billens, I think.
We went to Mexico.
And they played the mariachi band version.
They did. I was quite pleased when they played that on the broadcast.
Not gonna lie, I was fully gassed when that came on.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. But Sergio didn't win, so
The gas was dialed down.
Yeah. it would have been much better, and also probably slightly stereotypical had they won. Well, had Sergio won, he's standing on the top of the car, and it's just the mariachi band.
I'd say that was embracing local traditions. Like mariachi bands are traditional Mexican.
And also quite fun to listen to.
They are.
They are.
Like I like
Yeah.
I like a good German band as well. You know, like a Oktoberfest sort of thing.
Mm.
But we don't get that when German drivers win the German Grand Prix, do we? No.
Just beer. Way.
Steins flying around.
Hurling frankfurters at people.
We also don't have the entire London Philharmonic Orchestra playing when British drivers win the British Grand Prix, do we?
We should.
That
Absolutely
would-
should.
Could you imagine the logistical nightmare of trying to set up an entire orchestra on the grid within like 5
should
minutes
just get,
of the
like-
checkered flag?
Well, no,
Just
you don't
like-
need to put them on the grid. Just have them like
Well,
in
where
Barcelona
else are they going to go?
or something.
Just
Do you
like
know how much-
Metallica.
Do you know how much space an entire orchestra takes up?
Or they could just record it
It's not
and
the
just
same.
play
Not the same.
it. Because that's
Just-
what they did with the mariachi
Yeah,
band.
I know. I'm pretty sure they just like fully lifted it off YouTube.
Probably. Just like someone in the booth just pressing play on YouTube. That wasn't even authorized. Just like,
Do it now! Do it now!
Yeah, do you know what would be funny?
And everyone appreciated it.
Yeah. And after Mexico, Sao Paulo, Mercedes are back, baby. George Russell done the win.
It was the first time that there wasn't really anything that anyone else could do,
Yeah. They were just the best car on the day.
which is normally what we'd say this year at least about the Red Bull.
Yeah.
Or on some occasions the Ferrari.
But not to forget Haas pole position.
True. K-Mag on pole.
Will never happen again. But it happened.
But you don't know that. Might happen
It's the floodgates are open now, man.
I'm more thinking Haas pole position.
Hey,
They
look,
don't
they
look to
got,
be-
Never know.
they got more money this year. They finished
8th?
8th
think.
in the constructors.
Yeah,
2
but
points clear
Williams
of
finished
AlphaTauri.
8th last year and are now 10th.
That's
They've
just
got Hulkenberg
Williams
back.
things. They had to spend all of their money on Latifi because he kept crashing. So they didn't have the money to develop the car. Now they've got someone else who's probably going to crash the car.
Yeah, because he's a rookie. The question is, will he last longer than 30 seconds around Bahrain?
The answer is yes. He's not the egg.
Was it even 30 seconds?
Oh, it may even have been 13.
Because it was.
If it's 30 seconds, I'm
It's
gonna
not
make it.
30
I'm gonna
seconds.
make an edit where it's lights out and away we go, and
then
the
the countdown.
countdown theme starts.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think it was 30 seconds. I think
And then
it
it'll
was
be da-da, da-da, da-da-da, into the wall. Love that.
To be fair, you could have it where they're lining up on the grid if it was just like 13.
True, but we all know that they take a lot of time to line up on the grid.
But yeah, moving on to Abu Dhabi Snooze Fest. Thus concludes the season.
Yeah, when you it's one of those things that annoys me that Abu Dhabi is just the last race of the season because they paid a shed load of money. It's
Yeah.
like Brazil was so much better than Abu Dhabi. Brazil used to be the last race of the season. Brazil was a significantly better season finale.
And it was we only talked about Abu Dhabi last year because of what happened at Abu Dhabi. Like,
Most other years, the championships already decided anyway,
yeah,
and it's boring.
Even when it wasn't decided, it was still boring.
Yeah. Yeah, literally, minus the last lap, Abu Dhabi was boring.
yeah, true.
So,
And then
okay.
just-
Take out the last lap, the first lap, and the one lap where Hamilton got caught by Perez blocking the ever-living daylights out of him.
It was
Which
dull.
then still
Then,
didn't make a
exactly.
difference.
Those 3 laps excluded, the race was a snooze fest.
Yeah,
So, and that's the end of the season.
yeah, which is always disappointing.
Yeah.
Like, why can't we just have a good season for once, where it's good right up until the end, so we have something to talk
You're
about?
not happy with last year.
No,
That
Of course he's
not
not.
enough.
He's a Mercedes fanboy. He's still heartbroken.
had we had a correct decision to end the championship, then yes, I would have been pleased with the 2021 season. No, the 2021 season was very enjoyable. It's just a shame it ended under such.
Yeah. I mean, both drivers would have been well-deserved champions.
Mhm.
You can't really argue that.
Yeah, no,
Um,
not at all.
That was more for the Twitter people that say he's an undeserving champion. It's
They'd
just
be saying Hamilton's 8-time champion, so
true.
Yeah,
But
he's
they
just
say
not-
that anyway.
Yeah,
It's just annoying that it will always sort of be overshadowed by the fact that it ended in such circumstances.
yeah. What happened at Abu Dhabi will always ruin it,
Yeah.
and it shouldn't, but it does.
It'll be one of those things that will appear on F1's YouTube channel in about 30 years' time of top 10
yeah.
controversial
Most
incidents.
controversial moments. Yeah.
Number 10, Abu Dhabi. Number 9, Abu Dhabi. Number 8, Abu
Abu
Dhabi.
Number
Dhabi.
8, number 8, when we continued racing at Saudi Arabia, even though there was a missile strike.
Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, that will forever soil it, I think, but not much we can do, really.
I think it should be left in Abu Dhabi. What stays in Abu what happens in Abu Dhabi stays in Abu Dhabi.
Right, Vegas wants its catchphrase back because we're going there next time.
They got to pay up.
What if the points from Las Vegas just stay in Las Vegas?
The championships,
And then
are
after
absolutely non-point
23 years of Las Vegas, we have the Las Vegas Championship. And the guy was the guy that wins it was the person that won like the first 4, and nobody else won that many. So it's someone that retired like 15 years ago.
Just have a 71-year-old Lewis Hamilton lift the championship.
But he can't take the trophy with him because that has to stay in Vegas.
Yeah.
What happens if one of them passes away as they've won it? There's
We have a
deserving
posthumous
champion.
champion.
It's
Yeah.
a shame that he's not with us, so we've had to bring in his stud or whatever.
We've had a posthumous champion before.
Jochen Rindt.
Jochen Rindt. Yeah.
Have they?
Yeah.
It's the only posthumous champion we've ever had.
Yeah, he died. I want to say it was at Monza.
Yes, Parabolica, I think.
Carl Jochen Rindt, who went by Jochen Rindt, was a German-born racing driver. However, he competed with an Austrian license, despite having German and not Austrian citizenship. Why not? He was killed in practice for the Italian Grand Prix. Became the only driver to be posthumously awarded the F1 World Drivers' Championship.
Yes.
So he died in 1970. It doesn't say what corner.
I believe it was Parabolica.
Crashed heavily at the approach to Parabolica.
And it was his seatbelt that caused it.
Yeah, it just crashed under braking.
Yeah, and it was injuries to his throat caused by his seatbelt.
Yeesh.
But yeah, that's the only posthumous Formula One world champion we've ever had.
And hopefully we'll ever have.
Exactly. Well, I mean, if Romain Grosjean can survive literally exploding,
F1 champion.
Yeah, put some respect on Grosjean, but not that much.
Christ.
no, I'm not saying he's the Formula One world champion. I'm saying if he can survive literally exploding, then safety is going in the right direction in the sport.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
What did you think I was going to say?
Romain Grosjean, the 2021.
Yeah, I thought you'd give an example.
give
of
it
the
to
fact that someone
Yeah.
could.
I think it was more than 160 mile an hour through an Armco barrier.
And then exploding.
Yeah.
But yeah, so sum up thoughts on the season, Nia.
Who's picked me first?
Because you've been dead quiet.
Because I don't remember any of it. I'm just going with pure vibes here. Okay.
We know how that ended last week.
Yeah, don't want to go there again.
I think I need to listen to last week's
You-
episode now.
No.
You know that episode where I put just the random dude doing the thumbnail?
Yeah.
This was a
You couldn't
close
have done a
second to
thumbnail.
that.
You couldn't have done a thumbnail for
Oh.
this one.
Yeah.
No.
We spent a lot more time talking about other things than we actually did about Abu Dhabi.
To be fair, unsurprising, it was
So,
Abu Dhabi.
I feel like the
Yeah,
title
but-
of Abu Dhabi review was a bit misleading.
We could give you 5 guesses on what we talked about.
And you'd never get it.
nowhere near.
No, I want to hear his guesses now. I want to see if he actually gets. Just take a guess, please.
Did Singapore come up? That's
No.
usually our rant. Oh, it's disappointing.
It's nothing to do
Yeah.
with F1.
Nothing to do with racing.
Jesus. The
Yeah.
pub.
No,
No.
that's 2.
That I was going to say that guy who chatted up me in the pub. It's got nothing to do with the
No, nothing to do with the pub.
anything to do with was it to do with racing?
Nothing
Oh.
to do with racing.
Completely unrelated. Okay, video games.
Oh,
The FIFA World Cup.
We did discuss
We
that,
did, but not.
but it wasn't the topic of choice.
That's how the conversation started.
That's how
But
it
it's not where it
started.
went. And those are your 5 guesses up.
I'll find out when we stop recording.
Yeah.
But yeah, so sum up your thoughts on the 2022 season, please, Nia.
It could have been a lot better. Just a bit of shit, you know.
Fair enough. Ben?
Okay. It's better in segments, I'd say, as we said at the start, but it's also not helped to the fact that like the 3 main teams in Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari have just dominated the podium places by an absolute storm.
Richard?
Formula 1.5 is alive and well, much to the dismay of everybody. No, it's a good start in terms of the new rule set, but it was always going to end this way in sense, because back to the last major rule set changes. We always had someone
2014.
that ran
Yeah.
away with it, you know, like 2014 was Mercedes domination. 2010 was closer, but was very much a period of Red Bull domination. 2009 was Brawn's innovation. And then you go back to 2000 and it was Ferrari. So
Yes.
it's sort of what you'd expect from a major rule change. It was good that we had two cars that was almost of like similar pace. Just shame we didn't have two teams that were of similar mental pace. But it was also good to see Mercedes then enter the fray later on. So
Yeah, I think they'll be up there next season.
Yeah. The question now is, how long is it going to take the midfield to catch that on the budget? And part of me wonders if maybe the budget cap didn't go far enough in terms of what if we stunted the top teams in their spending and didn't stunt the bottom teams?
Yeah, like have that sliding scale like they do for development time and stuff. Have a sliding scale for the budget.
Yeah, so the wind tunnel times, if you finish 7th, you get the nominal amount. Anything above that, you get less time. And anything below that, you get more time in 5% increments. Why not do something similar with the finances and say, if you finish 5th, you get 145 million and you get 5% less every position above that. And you get 5% more every position below that.
And if you finish 10th, you can spend what you like.
You have a blank check. And that's when the guy in 10th always wins the next year.
They just come out with this radically new car the next year.
They've
whoa.
literally been running their wind tunnel 24/7. No, I mean, you see what I mean? But like within reason, that would make sense. But obviously, the way the rule changes are, the sort of the politics of Formula One means that teams have to sort of okay things. And I don't think the top teams would have ever okayed that.
No.
So.
And yeah, I guess I'm sort of thinking the same thing. The regulations worked to a point. There's still work to be done. I don't think the grid will properly come together quite possibly until 2026 when we get the new engines.
If anything, I think 2025 will be close. And then 2026 has scope to potentially separate people again.
Well, yeah, because I suppose 2014 absolutely blew the grid apart. Well, correction. It sent one team miles ahead and everyone else was really close because everyone else kept breaking down.
But like, so when we had the 2014 rule change, it wasn't really until 2020, 2021 that Red Bull really caught up with them in terms of development. Now, in that time, they'd changed engine manufacturers and all this, that, and the other. So maybe they'd have caught up sooner, but I don't think they would have caught up if they'd stuck with Renault, because Renault's priority is always going to be Renault and not the teams they provide engines for.
Alpine.
Well, yeah, at the time it was Renault.
Yeah.
So I feel like now that they've got their own engine manufacturer, previously in the form of Honda, now in the form of Red Bull, actually Honda.
Yeah, they pushed for a bit of a.
They pushed for the freeze
pretenses.
And then gave everyone the old Uno reverse card. It's, I don't know, I feel like 2025 is set to be the closest of the new rule set. If everything continues as expected and we don't have any major rule changes between now and then. But then I think, and this is a bold prediction 4 years in the making now, I think that in 2026, there's actually going to be a greater disparity in engine performance than what we've got currently.
I guess we'll just need to wait and see.
4 more years of podding.
Now, next week, we
Hey,
will...
wait, Ben, wait. what was the like prediction on when we'd hit 100 subscribers? Can you remember that? You were looking at like when YouTube said we'd hit 100 subscribers. Was that
I'll find it,
before
I'll
or
find it, I'll
after
find
the
it, I'll find it.
26 season?
Social Blade. But I mean, we're on 56 now, so
we're getting
That's only in 1.5 years.
a bit over that now.
Yeah. 1 3/4 years.
That's close enough.
I've just searched up the Turn 5 podcast and the Fastest Lap podcast has come up as well. Well, we should have 57 subs tomorrow.
See?
Is that what it thinks?
That's what it thinks. I disagree with it personally.
I'm going to check my other account is not subscribed and then
Yeah,
subscribe
I saw
tomorrow.
We should have apparently 119 in 10 months.
I was gonna say 10
Whoa.
years.
That estimation has come down a long way because that used to be like years.
Yeah, I thought Ben was gonna say 10 years. It's like, how
In 4 years' time, 4 years' time, we should have 1K subs.
Wow. Okay. I'll take that.
To be fair, though, when
I'm
you start
fine with
growing,
that.
you begin growing exponentially, usually. It's just getting off the ground that's the problem.
There's 100 subs by July next year.
The Silverstone race could be our 100 sub special.
Oh, look.
And it would take till
We have
November-
57 subscribers.
It should take till November the 29th, 2027 to get 90k views.
Very nice. Very nice.
So I'm personally worried for November 2027, the fact that we'd be viewed 90,000 times.
Yes.
That's very distressing.
Still not as many views as one of my old videos.
And also the fact we would have been doing this for 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'd be what? I'll be 27.
Oh,
2027, I'll be 26.
I'll be 31.
I'll be 23.
Old boy.
We're all being.
I won't even be in my
pretty much around
20s
30.
anymore.
And
And
Oh,
maybe we would have
God.
recruited a 5th member by then.
Maybe we'll have been bought out by some other company and we'd actually be making
No.
money.
WTF
WTF1,
I
please
think
buy
I've
us.
crucified that.
Nah, we're
And
fine.
you,
That last-
and you've crucified that as well, definitely.
I think we crucified that last week.
Yeah, probably.
Mm,
Thanks, Nia.
I think we said worse.
That's debatable.
I don't think it
We
is.
might have said worse, but I don't think we've had a worse conversation.
Have you ever seen the "Why Are You Gay" thing from Uganda?
Who hasn't?
No,
Yeah, the thing that's running through my head just now is just confusion of the highest order. Because what the did you talk about last week that was
You were-
that bad?
You were surprisingly close
yeah, you were.
just then.
Yeah.
It wasn't Uganda,
No.
surprisingly.
Right.
Anyway.
before this gets too far gone.
Again.
Join us next week for the support series review.
What? No. I'm not
wait,
having,
no, sorry,
after
yeah.
everything I've done, I'm not doing an episode on support series that no one cares about.
Okay, sorry. Ben has some sort of award ceremony for next week.
I turn up next week, but F3.
Well,
Wow,
we're
that's a
gonna.
great
Is it
season,
gonna
isn't
be?
it?
Is it gonna be
Yeah.
like reviewing our best bits of the year? Because I have not got a montage ready for that.
Yeah, you need to give us some pre-warning as to what's going to be happening.
No, I ain't giving you anything.
Oh,
You
great!
just turn up next week.
How am I
You
going to
order some-
host it
that
then?
is- I'm the host. I was the one who made it.
You're just gonna say "so hello," and then Ben's
Yeah,
gonna
even
take
then,
over.
I'll get you, Rich, to edit it out. That's
Can't
not
edit
needed.
out the so hello.
Ben's
It's the
gonna
rules.
Ben's gonna pre-record one and send me a so
Yeah.
hello.
So hello and welcome to the
just
Turn
have-
5
it's like-
podcast.
Welcome to
The
the
TikTok
96th
voiceover.
annual Octors. Octors?
Anyway,
Oscars.
before we wrap up this week, we have some news from the world of FIA Formula E.
Oh.
Yes.
See you next week for the awards ceremony.
Yeah, Formula E have announced some changes to their sporting regulations for the upcoming season, of which pre-season testing starts in 2 weeks to give us something to watch in the winter.
God, am I going to have
Give
to
you
sink to
something
that
to
level?
watch.
I don't think I can sink to that level.
So the races will no longer be conducted as 45 minutes plus 1 lap. We're going to have a set lap counter. But if there's any time behind full course yellow, the safety car, they're just going to slap some extra laps on. Rather than slapping some extra time on. They're looking at introducing pit stops. So
Next, they'll be looking at introducing refueling.
Recharging. Formula E.
It was a joke, Ben.
Sorry, I
That-
think
that was-
yeah,
was
so
That was the
I
joke.
apologize. I think we should redo that segment.
No
in-
redos.
in season 9, which is the upcoming season, a mandatory 30-second attack charge stop during a predetermined period in the race will unlock 2 enhanced attack mode periods to be deployed later in the race, where the power output will increase from 300 kilowatts to 350 kilowatts.
Wow.
Wow, numbers
Power.
that don't really mean anything to me
Yeah,
because
I
I
don't
operate
actually-
in brake
Well,
horsepower.
if
yeah,
you
I'm
ever
not sure what
felt-
that is in brake horsepower.
You ever felt 350 kilowatts?
Uh,
It
and-
tickles.
Fan boost is dead.
So the drivers, if they get 350 kilowatts,
Yeah, fan boost is dead.
Good.
They've finally taken it in the video, like saying, "Oh, fan boost is dead." They even admit, yeah, it's had a bit of a mixed history. People either loved it or absolutely hated it.
The
Fan
drivers that
boost.
loved it were the ones that always got it. The drivers that
boost.
hated it were literally everyone else.
Fan boost, the Marmite of Formula racing.
I think it's worse than Marmite.
And like Formula One, they're including rookie driver mandatory sessions. So 2 free practice 1 sessions per team must be given up to people who've never competed in the championship. Unlike Formula One, who were like, "Have you done 3 races? No? Well, then you're still a rookie." And then, of course, young rookie upstart, 2-time world champion Fernando Alonso.
That was post-season young driver testing, not the rookie sessions.
Yeah, but it's still the young
I
driver
know,
test.
he is young for an old man.
Peace sake.
Oh yeah, that happened this week. The young driver test took place,
Yeah.
and as always, none of it is shown on TV, which is quite boring, actually.
Yeah.
We had Oscar Piastri breakdown
Hmm.
Mentally or with his car?
with the car,
Both,
and then
perhaps.
mentally.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
there we go.
But yeah, so that was some news from Formula E. We'll just need to wait and see what these new attack charge things will look like when they actually begin. When the season starts in January, I think.
Too soon.
Yeah, the 14th of January in Mexico City. So yeah, keep an eye out for that.
If you want
And yeah, come on, Formula E's not the worst.
I think we're more interested in the car livers.
Yeah, but they won't even be out by that time. That's too early for Carlon.
You can predict the car livers. Ferrari. I think it's
to.
gonna be
Yeah,
wicked.
let's Photoshop each a design for the new cars.
I don't know how to
No.
work Photoshop.
Just use paint like I do. It'll be so much more funny.
I mean, bold prediction: the Ferrari will be red.
Joke's on you. Comes out in Modena yellow.
Yeah, what?
Jordan returns to the grid.
The Mercedes
That's
will be
an
silver.
That's an old reference for you two young'uns down there.
Well, I know Jordan. I've watched the sport when I was young.
And Nia's just sitting there like, who's a Jordan?
What's a Jordan?
I know Eddie Jordan.
He had bright yellow cars.
Yeah. Mid
For
table.
Spotify, Nia done a
More thumbs up.
She's too scarred by last week's discussion, apparently, to take part this
Well,
week.
Yeah,
She
she
was the
doesn't
one who
trust
brought it
herself
up.
anymore. Yeah, exactly. She doesn't trust herself anymore.
I was already started.
So
But yeah, anyway, I believe that wraps up this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast. Unless anyone else has anything to add. Nia?
Biting my tongue.
no, that's it. We're done. We're done.
No,
I
no.
could have.
Go on,
I
let's
could have
find out.
Nope.
No, you got to watch it. I want those. I want those watch numbers up, boy.
I mean, Lewis Hamilton, would you?
That wraps up this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you next week for Ben's award ceremony. Ta-ra for now.